Hi, and welcome to learning how to navigate through Google Calendar. In this video, we're going to be talking about your personal calendar as well as Google shared calendars that may have been shared with you over the past few years, and also how to turn these calendars on and off in case you get to have too many calendars when you're looking at Google Calendar. To look at the calendars that you have access to, you can always navigate to your Google Calendar and then use the scroll bar on the left-hand side. The first column that you're going to notice is the My Calendars. So these are calendars that are you created or that were created for you for your personal calendar. Everyone in Google Calendar has their own personal Google Calendar. Now, these events can only be seen by you unless you have shared out your calendar with others. Um, some folks can search for your availability, but it will just show up as busy if you have that setting turned on. But you may see some other calendars. Now, in my case, you're going to see a lot of calendars because I've made several for Green Valley School, but I actually own those calendars, and that's why they're showing up under mine. Below my calendars, you're going to see other calendars. These are calendars that have been shared with you. In some cases, you may be able to add events to these calendars. In other, you may only be able to see events. So if you ever find yourself with lots of calendars, so if I turn this calendar on and this calendar on, and this is just too much, if you're like, these are too many calendars, you can always turn them off by clicking on the colored tile next to the name, and then the calendars will no longer show up. I actually like this better than trying to delete a calendar. Now, in some cases, maybe it's a calendar that no longer needs to exist. And if it's one that you own, you can go into settings and actually permanently delete. You can also just tell Google Calendar to only display this calendar or hide from your list. But a lot of times I've found that you are going to want to have that calendar again sometime. So by simply clicking on the tiles next to the name will show or hide. So that makes it a little bit easier. Now, when you're creating an event, you can always, put your title in, as we've discussed in some other videos. But the key down here is at the very bottom, where it says, which calendar do you want this event to go to? The default will always be your personal Google Calendar. And again, if it needs to go onto a calendar that everyone sees, so for instance, if it needs to be part of the Green Valley School events, I need to click on that calendar. Otherwise, it's only going to show up on my calendar and no one else will know about that event. In some cases, if it's a shared calendar, like the Watauga County Schools District Event and PD calendar, you'll notice I do not have access to add any events or change any events. You may need to contact someone who's in charge of that calendar to modify those events for you. This is one of the easiest ways. So if it's something that needs to go to Green Valley School events, you'll notice that the color changes and now it's on that particular calendar. If you ever want this event from a shared calendar also on your personal calendar, when you click on the event, you can always come to the stoplight here, and this is where you can copy it to multiple calendars. So it's one of the easiest options, but this is a great way to communicate with others in the building. I know that at Green Valley, we look at our school events calendar, and that's kind of our be-all, end-all. If there's an event, it needs to be on that calendar. So hopefully this will help you organize your calendars a little bit more.